There are moments when the words you want to say feel trapped behind your own heartbeat, and the fear of judgment makes silence the safest choice. Admitting what's in your heart is never easy, especially when vulnerability feels like standing on a stage with no script, exposed to the world. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't the feeling itself, but the courage it takes to share it out loud, afraid of what might come next. When your emotions are louder than your words, it feels as though the world might hear your unspoken truths, even in your silence. To reveal a secret of the soul is to risk both rejection and connection, a gamble many are too afraid to take. I keep replaying these thoughts in my mind, wondering if voicing them would bring freedom or regret. The vulnerability of admitting how you truly feel often feels like opening a window during a storm, unsure if the fresh air or chaos will follow. Every unspoken thought is a missed opportunity, but sometimes the fear of misunderstanding outweighs the need to be understood. My thoughts swirl like a quiet storm, and the idea of letting them escape feels as terrifying as stepping into the unknown. Sharing your emotions is like showing someone the cracks in your armor, hoping they'll see the beauty in your honesty instead of the weakness in your defenses. I often wonder if the world would be kinder if we all admitted how scared we are to speak our truths. The words sit on the tip of my tongue, trembling with the weight of what they might mean once spoken aloud. There's a strange power in vulnerability, a raw truth that connects souls, yet it feels impossible to embrace when fear has the louder voice. It's a delicate dance between wanting to be seen and fearing what might happen when you truly are. Sometimes the fear of being misunderstood feels greater than the hope of being accepted, keeping my words locked inside. The shy confession of one's feelings is an act of courage hidden in whispers, a soft battle against the fear of rejection. I wish I could untangle the web of thoughts in my mind and offer them to the world without shame or fear. There's an ache in my chest that grows every time I choose silence over truth. But speaking feels like walking a tightrope over uncertainty. Admitting how I feel is like unlocking a door, unsure if what lies on the other side is freedom or regret. There's a quiet strength in allowing yourself to be vulnerable, but it's a strength I'm still learning to embrace. I've rehearsed these words 1,000 times in my mind, but when the moment comes, my courage always falters. The fear of judgment often silences the voice of authenticity, leaving us trapped in the shadows of our own hearts. The weight of unspoken words can be heavier than the fear of their consequences, yet I carry them still. Shyness isn't weakness. It's the heart's way of protecting itself from wounds it's not yet ready to bear. Every time I hold back my feelings, it feels like building a dam against a river that's meant to flow freely. The most beautiful truths are often the hardest to admit, for they carry the risk of changing everything. My heart beats louder every time I think about sharing these feelings, as if it knows the risk I'm about to take. In the silence of unspoken words, there is both safety and longing, a paradox I can't seem to escape. Shyness wraps around my thoughts like a veil, keeping my truths hidden even from myself at times. There's an entire universe inside me waiting to be explored, but fear keeps the gates firmly shut. I wonder how the world would change if everyone spoke their truth without fear, letting their hearts lead the way. It feels as though my soul is knocking on the inside of my ribs, begging me to speak, yet my fear keeps the door locked. The words I long to say feel like a fragile bridge between my heart and the world, one I'm terrified might collapse. In the quiet moments, I dream of a world where sharing feelings isn't met with judgment, but with understanding and love. The courage to admit your feelings is like planting a seed of hope, unsure if it will bloom or wither in the light of truth. My shyness isn't a wall, it's a window I've yet to open, hoping for the right moment to let the light in. I've always admired those who speak their truths freely, while I stand in the shadows, holding mine close. Admitting my feelings feels like peeling back layers of armor, leaving me bare to the world's gaze. The fear of being misunderstood often silences the most important truths we carry in our hearts. I long to share the thoughts that haunt me, but the weight of their potential impact keeps me silent. In my shyness lies a storm of emotions, waiting for the courage to let them break free. It feels like the world stops every time I consider speaking my truth, as if holding its breath for what I'll say.